Welcome to Pokemon Masters Council. I am your host, Gym Leader Justin. Zero is out this week, unfortunately. Good for him. He's got states, so it's a very big deal. We want to wish him the best of luck. Shout down out in the comments. Y'all wish him the best of luck at states. He will be back next week, and we will be doing the next episode of the podcast. There will be an extra week in between because of him doing his states run. But without further ado, we are here this week, Friday. Actually, it's going to be Thursday night, 8 p.m. for us here in Michigan. So basically, like, for 36 hours from now, we are going to be going live on Theia Sky Ruins. So we're going to be here over here on the boy himself, the man, the myth, the legend, the best mustache in all of Unite, Mr. Spragels himself. We're going to be going over this new map video that he put out, and we're going to be checking out all of the new details. Without further ado, let's get into it. Council's in session. So, as you can see right there, he is just fighting against the Caesar. Let's full screen this, huh? So when you first, start the game, you're going to jump over the wall where the Lillipup normally is. Now there's going to be a Natu or a Xatu. I've seen both, but in this one it was just a Xatu, so I'm not sure. And then he fights the Claydol. So already we're seeing more experience in the jungle than before, because there's like a little mini camp before we go there, and then they're fully evolved poke, and now we go see we're getting the purple buff, the blue buff. Like we said before, this one gives now cooldown reduction, which is insane, and then the red buff basically just gives more damage on hit and slows on hit for your auto attacks. I don't think it works for spells. I think it's just auto attacks, but don't quote me just yet. We haven't actually tested it out in person. As you can already see, the mini map up top there is quite a bit of a difference in terms of like the middle of the map. The outskirts of the map is all the same. Go check out our video in the link description when we go through our deep dive with Zero about the Theia Sky Ruins. So there's already different positions here, like there we go. This is a really nice screen. I'm gonna pause it here. This is a really good option to see kind of what's gonna spawn on the mini map. So as you can see, we start here at our base. All of these are relatively in the same spot. These goals are on the edge. The buffs are in different spots. There's different camps here. Now there's these 4 Claydol, which will then be, Baltoy, which will then be Claydol. There is the Altaria and Swablu. That's basically the bees, the Combi Vespiquen, or so. And then in the winter map we had the bears. Now we've got the birds. So the birds spawn in the middle of the map where Zapdos, or in this map obviously it's the Rayquaza pit. They spawn here at 7 minutes, the same time that they spawn for lane.
2 ball toys and then both of those buffs. You also have things.
It's really interesting to see the different amount of experience and just kind of allocated in different spots around the map, especially now because the Dreadnought buff doesn't exist. So they sort of balance it out with like, hey, there are other options to get experience around the map now, other than just all going bot, and if your team doesn't, then you just instantly fail and lose the game. I really hated that mechanic, so I'm glad that they're just sort of spreading it out and letting you farm, I guess, a little bit more of the traditional way.
This is a new thing inside the map. There's something in the center that spawns here at 8 minutes. You have an entire
it's at 8 minutes that these spawn.
Of this new map, the Swablu,
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, it's 8 minutes that those Swablu Altaria spawn right in the middle. So a minute before the before the Reggie spawn. So that's really interesting. So you have like a little mini objective at 8 minutes for like the junglers, or maybe top lane to roam down or bot lane to roam up a little bit and contest those birds. So that's really cool. There is a minute spawn timer on all of the jungle camps, same as before. We haven't heard or seen anything different yet.
And they work just like the 4 core fish.
Yeah, as you can hear him say, the Baltoy are essentially core fish. Not a whole lot of difference there, other than the fact that it's just a different Hoenn rep. I'm kind of sad to see all these Hoenn rep being the wild pokes. I want to play as Claydol, I want to play as Crawdaunt, I want to play as Ludicolo. Obviously, he's my favorite water type of all time. So, like, taking a sip of some coffee. I definitely think he's got a point here. So he's talking about jungle invasions, because there's a lot more experience in the jungle. The buffs are better, so there is going to be more of a precedence to protect your side of the jungle and block off invades. And like I said before, jungling is a team effort. So just because you're not the jungle role doesn't mean that you don't have a leg in the race in terms of protecting your side jungle. Nice little Bunnelby in the lane instead of Apom. As you can see there, there's Uraraka. There's the female Indeedee instead of Audinos. So far there's in terms of like the wild pokes, they're very, very, very similar to what we're used to. Just different positions around the map. There is a new camp in the middle at 8 minutes, but most of them, they're the same sort of relative position on the map and same relative amount of experience, and they spawn a relatively or exactly the exact same time. So far, that's not too much different. That makes me feel good. It's not like it's literally an entire new game. There is still some similarity that we can just sort of plug and play from remote to Theia. As you can see, there's like where the Audino would normally kind of spawn, or there's normally not an Audino top. There's normally just the one core fish, then Apom, but there was the Audino equivalent. The Indeedee is now top, so there is more experience top. As you can see here, we're going to pause this again because we can see Bunnelby, double Bunnelby. Then there's another Bunnelby here, a Baltoy here, and then instead of 2 Audinos, there's only 1 Uraraka here and here. There's normally 3, one here, and then one way down here. So instead of that, they split it up to another Bunnelby and a Claydol, or a Baltoy. So that's pretty interesting. So a little bit of a different setup, but it looks to be maybe the same amount of experience, like two of these for the price of just 1 Indeedee. These show male Indeedee on the map, but I'm pretty sure when we saw it in game it was female. The way you can tell is if the horns are flipped up, it's male, flipped down, female. Not a big deal. I'm just aesthetic guy, right? And we see the Altarias, the birds.
6 minutes 40 seconds spawning right here. You have these Natu spawning, so you have a group of...
Oh wow, okay, so we have some Natu spawning in the top. It's like a group of like 3. Really, really interesting. Okay, yeah, there's definitely 3 Natu up here. So the top lane is a completely different world. Okay, that's a huge difference. The fact that there are the 3 birds and the fact that there's Indeedee, that's a lot more experienced top lane. So maybe top lane isn't such a, like, you can't bring, 3-stage poke. Maybe you can now. That'll be worthwhile to test out. Maybe there's not so much more experienced top to where it doesn't work. So I'm really interested to try that out. So there, as you can see here, we will pause this as usual. This is what it looks like when you go top lane. So again, this Baltoy spawns where the old Corefish would. This Baltoy spawns where the old Corefish would. But now there is there used to be, a monkey, 2 monkeys, and then another monkey here and another monkey here. So what they did is they put the Bunnelby in the middle to contest, the Baltoy in the middle to contest, and then each side has 3 little Natu also. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to try it out. I'm really, really excited to try it. So, as he just said, at 7 minutes, where Dreadnought used to spawn, same time, same position on the map, now we have, like League of Legends, where it's going to be a random 1 out of 3. If you get the ice, it'll give you, it does give experience. It does give global experience to the team that kills it, but it's just nowhere near as impactful, and there's no shield the way that Dreadnought did. It's not like you get this, and now instantly everybody in your team just all of a sudden, ding! Now we all have ultimates, and we just instantly wipe the team fight. It's not going to be that way, or at least that seems to be the intent, is for it to not be that way anymore. They all do give a little bit of global experience to the team that kills them. Regieleki does not. So, Regice gives you the little bit of experience, and then HP recovery. Registeel gives you experience and attack and special attack, and then Regirock gives you some experience, and then defense and special defense. So, that's pretty interesting, and it will be random of, which one spawns. There will be some sort of node on the map to show when they're spawning. Right here, we're at the Regieleki. Regieleki is essentially Rotom, but it's so much more important here, as he discusses in his video also. I couldn't agree more. We've already discussed it on the channel before, and we're going to touch on it here again. Because there's no Zapdos Insta-Dunk, this Regieleki is the only way to get a gold defenseless to where you can just Insta-Dunk. This is the only way to do it now, which means there's so much more weight in terms of like priority between the Regis and what used to be Rotom and Dreadnought. Everybody would go to Dreadnought instantly for the first one, and then it would sort of be up in the air contesting for second, and then third was kind of worthless. Rotom might actually be good. The Regieleki might actually be good right out the gate now. Because it's just a whole different world. Look at that. Look at that little Magnemite. Oh, yeah, baby. Adorable. Nice little camera Magnemite mon floating around. So we're going to see him try to get in here. They're trying to push in this Rotom. There's not too much about it. Getting the old Regieleki in there, the Rotom buff that we know and love. Boom, there it is. Ta-da! They get other points in.
What I've noticed here is scoring is so much more important on this map.
Exactly what he just said. Scoring is so much more important on this map because, yes, the last 2 minutes there's still double scoring, but there's no insta-dunk. So, like, getting your scores in early and mid-game are going to be so much more impactful than they were on Remote. This is going to be a lot more skill-based in the last couple minutes of the game than Remote Stadium ever was. Because Zapdos is just stupid. So, I'm really, really excited to see this change, and I cannot wait to try it out myself. So, Rayquaza, the boy, he comes out at 2 minutes, the same as Zap. So, again, a lot of these timers and everything are just the same. And, you know, the foundation of the house is basically relatively still the same. So, we've already talked about it before, but we're just going to pause it here. This is what Rayquaza does. This is where he spawns, grants you his shield, that increases your goal scoring speed. If you lose the shield, so if you get into a fight and your enemy does enough damage to break the shield, then you lose the buff of scoring faster. Like, you have to have the shield, the green shield on in order for it to apply the faster scoring stuff. So, pretty self-explanatory. Really happy to see it. You can see right there, that's the movement speed aura. Like, so basically, as we talked about the airstream ability that Rayquaza has, as soon as he spawns, those little wind tunnel circle things that'll give you move speed if you walk through them. There's no directionality to them. You just walk through them and you get a big speed buff. It applies to both you or enemies. Like, it's not team specific. It's just move speed pads, basically. So that's really, really cool. Helps you get around the map a little bit. Oh, yeah, let's go. Let's see some Caesar. Yeah, get him. Oh, yeah, double kill. Let's go. Yeah, there is a wall on the top side of the pit, same as Zap. You have to go all the way around to the bottom side to actually get to the mouth, the entrance of it. You can shoot over the edge of that wall, just like Zap. So it's pretty interesting to see this map. Really, really excited to try it out. Cannot wait. We definitely think that some of the hot picks will be things like Score Shield and Goal Getter. You might see a lot more in the meta because in this map, scoring is going to be so much more important because there's not just that, you know, turn your brain off and just steal Zap and now we get to score 500 points. It's just dumb. So now people actually have to play the game. People actually have to be good at the lane phase and good at the early and mid game in order to get a foothold. And if you're not good at the early and mid game, you're going to fall behind and then you're going to lose. And guess what? You should lose. If you're losing 80% of the game, you lost the game. You shouldn't have, you know, this crazy comeback mechanic to score 500-600 points to dig you out of a hole in the last 2 minutes. What's the point of playing the first 8 minutes? So I think this is the single most healthy change that they could have ever done to Unite, which is getting rid of the Zapdos. So I am so beyond excited to try this. Shout outs down below to Spragels. Go check out his channel. Go give him a sub. He is the #1 Unite content creator in the world that at least from my perspective, he's my favorite. So definitely go check him out. And stay tuned for the PMC because this weekend we will have some, just a little bit, because we do both have a tournament this weekend. Brandon has states and I have a practice tournament because my state tournament is coming up in a month for Warhammer. So like super busy tournament side of the year. But we will have some Theia stuff out. And then next week is the next episode of the podcast where we will be doing a full deep dive review with actual tactical knowledge, you know, of us actually playing Theia. We will be doing a Theia review for the podcast, so stay tuned. And until next time, I've been Justin. Council's adjourned.